Good morning, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. It is very early in the morning, 4 o'clock California time. This is the Plan Your Trade video for the 22nd of July. Today, we're looking at a topping pattern. Now, it may seem odd, but let me explain to you what a topping pattern really is. We are in trending mode. We are in bullish trending in a minor warning phase, which is no big deal right now. A topping pattern typically looks like this, finding some sort of a peak and then rolling off of it, or finding a peak and then rolling down off of it, or finding a peak and then rolling down off of that peak. So in today's move, we could see a peak form possibly somewhere, up in this area or up in this area or up maybe in this area. Who knows? What we do know is that today should be an upward bar, finding a peak and then rolling downward. So we're looking at the ES right now. Then I'll move to the SPY and the NQ. But we should be, if I come down here to a 30-minute chart, we should be looking at finding some sort of a peak. You can see how we're moving upward here compared to the previous days. We should be looking at finding some sort of a peak today and then rolling downward. So now let's take a look at where we're at from the last major resistance and support areas, which would be over here, down to here. Get my mouse to cooperate. We're already above the 5-0 level. Good sign here. So you can see here, very solidly moving higher, rolling above this level, which is very good as far as resistance. We've broken through intermediate term resistance. Now we come to the previous peaks back over here. Excuse me, a couple of sneezes. And we roll into this area. We're still below this resistance. 382 to 50 is very important. I'll show you that at other areas, other videos. I've been doing this for a long time, showing you what's going on. So in reality, ladies and gentlemen, another sneeze. In reality, ladies and gentlemen, this area right up in here, this 5600 area, is probably a very likely topping formation. So we're going to be looking at a top maybe in this area, 5600, possibly getting a little higher up into this area, 5609. And again, we come over to the SPY. And of course, I got a lot of drawing on here from weeks of trying to share and talk with you. We are going to get rid of some of this drawing. Get rid of this. And get rid of this. And this. And we'll get rid of this real quick. Okay, so same thing again. Coming back from this breakdown high all the way to this base rejection area. We now have a resistance channel in this 382 to 50 area. And again, this puts us very cleanly watching the NQ attempt to move above this level. So if I were to highlight this and drag this over, my suggestion would be that the topping pattern today would likely extend up into this area, 553.20 to possibly 555.85. We would likely see some sort of a topping pattern moving up into this area, finding some sort of resistance, and then rolling back down. Now, remember, even though my SPY cycle patterns are still very valid. Remember, we've seen these patterns play out all last week. The exhaustion rally, the exhaustion carryover, the possible breakdown, the major crush, and the bearish exhaustion. Remember, I tried to draw those for you in terms of what I expected right here. This red bar right here. Let me try to get it. That big red bar I tried to draw as a downward bar. This was the major crush pattern, I believe. Let's take a look. That was the exhaustion carryover and counter trending mode. Then we had the breakdown. Then we had the major crush. Then we had the bearish exhaustion. So here we go through this crush pattern, this breakdown, and then exhaustion. And you can see, even though I was drawing and expecting prices to reach up in this level and then come down through this cycle and then base through my drawings, you can see that I was off here. I mean, price never reached this level, but I certainly went up just like I expected 3 weeks in advance, folks. Remember, when I drew this, started drawing right here. So I drew all of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days in advance, showing you what was going to happen with price moving up for 3, 4, 5 days, moving down for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, where we ended up here, moving into this lower cycle. Price extended downward a bit, and now we're moving into this consolidation cycle. So even though my drawings were off by a bit, and again, I'm human. I'm just drawing what I expect to see happen. Now we're moving into that consolidation period, and that consolidation period is going to settle until around this 24th. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, again over here. Take a look at the patterns. We've got Monday, Tuesday, top, flat down, Harami on the 24th, which I think may be a little bit early in this temporary bottom, and then this counter trend top resistance, which will be a bottom support level. So I think this 24th, 25th, 26th moves us into solid rallying mode into this week, the 29th, 30th, 31st, and then August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all the way into this area is a good solid rally phase. So now be aware that we're going to likely see a very solid move, as I showed you here, to the upward side. And I will draw this here. We move into this 25th mode. I think we're going to be moving into some sort of an upward cycle channel. So you have about 1, 2, 3, maybe days, in my opinion, of some basing channeling, and it'll more than likely base across this level here, which is this lower line, and possibly across this level here, meaning that I would expect price to stay within this range for the next couple of days before we move into a real breakaway channel out into the future. Okay. And again, that's a very based on my understanding and interpretation of these patterns. Now, I did go through a lot of extended data on an open Discord chat that I had with my subscribers, talking to them about why I believe it's critically important that we understand that the markets are building strength. They're building strength into a potential rally phase into Q3 and Q4. We're seeing solid trending taking place. We're seeing US dollar strength taking place. We are seeing some real strong valuations appreciation. In fact, way back over here on my primary valuations chart, you can see the valuation index has moved considerably higher. This is showing us that the stock market is attempting to really move into a broad sector rally. And it's even more evident over here on this US valuation trend index. Very solid upward trending. We get into solid upward trending, even early stage. This is a very solid price appreciation. Okay, so we could see the markets really begin to appreciate higher over the next 4, 5, 6 months. And it becomes clearly evident here in the transportation index, even though this 30-minute chart shows some deep selling. Take a look at this. Okay, we have got a very solid transportation high set up over here. This was a very solid breakout move to the upside. Now, granted, by the end of the week, it pulled back down, but we are still near. Remember, this is 3 to 6 months out, and this is weekly. So, this whole rally into 2024, all of this rallying phase, as well as this consolidation, essentially means that what you're expecting in this move, this rally consolidation, is you're expecting a bit of a rally into the end of the year and then maybe some consolidation into 2025. This is 3 to 6 months out. You need to understand what you see in the transportation index is projecting 3 months into the future as far as expectation with the economy. So I believe that this continued upward trending that we're seeing here after the big COVID rally, the collapse in 2022, the base bottom, the deep low in October 2023. This is continued rallying phase here. And if we stay in this channel here, I believe we have a very solid potential for a good solid rally out of it. Now, we may move into a different channel like I've drawn here, but very solid. We need to see this hold up right now. But the transportation index is suggesting that we're going to see some type of upward move over the next 4 to 6 months. And that's plus, meaning could go all the way into 2025 and move substantially higher. So we're going to just play this out. We're getting very solid data for an upside price swing. And unless something derails the global economy on a major basis, I don't think we're going to have too much of a disruption. Okay. So let's take a look at the QQQ. Oh boy, look at these big purple bars. Well, that's fine. We were discussing a potential flagging setup back over here. And this is weekly. I guess, well, get rid of them real quick. And let's spread this out. Come back over here. So the Qs have pulled back substantially. Okay, you can see here rallying up and pulled back substantially. We're still in that support level. Look here how we are still very cleanly in that green support level. That is our major support level for the moves that have been up. So you can see here, drawing a support level here on the 382 to 50 level and drawing a deeper support level here on the 382 to 50 level. Again, today, right now, it's opening pre-market at, not opening, but at 479.34. I would expect a topping pattern today back up into this area, this 484, 485, let's call it. And that would mean that we would see some type of move like this up into this move and coming back down. Now this would be intraday. So let me come down here to 30 bar, 30-minute, and we would be looking at something kind of like this. So we're opening maybe at 479. Let's just say we may open right in this area, and I would expect it to move maybe up into this area and then roll back down into some type of consolidation today. So that gives you an idea that your topping area probably is going to be 485 to 486 on the QQQ. Remember, this topping pattern is a move up to find resistance and then move away from resistance. Then we go into flat down, inside Harami bar, and then a bottom pattern. So a bottom pattern is the opposite. So if we look at this and take a look at what we have this topping pattern, and then we have the flat down, Harami inside, and then bottoming. So we come back over here, flat down, uh, topping pattern, inside bar, which means it will stay within this range. And then we have a Harami pattern, which will stay within this range. Again, this range could be a little bigger and then stay inside that range. And then we get into a bottoming pattern around the 24th and 25th, which means we start moving into a solid uptrend. So this next couple of days is likely to be some sort of a flagging type formation setting up within maybe a big range. So we could see, this is where we're at right now, pre-market 479. We could see some volatile moving, maybe setting up a flag. And that's what I would expect, basing and bottoming around the 24th and 25th into a big solid upward rally, breakout rally that will again put us to moving back up into these areas here, 496, 497, 498, and potentially even much higher. So we're gonna play this out. I'm gonna keep doing this. I've only predicted up until this Friday, so I will have to look at this new data. I have already given you some hints that next week looks like a pretty solid basing bottoming rally taking place. But that's next week. So, and again, this is what I'm telling you. This is the real benefit of my research. Look, we're looking right now at today, the 22nd, but we're also looking all the way into next week and the following week. So we're working 5 days in advance, 5 more days in advance, and then another 4 days in advance. And by tomorrow, we'll be looking a total of 15 days in advance, knowing what is likely to come. So when we get into this pop, bottom rally, base rally, breakaway, bottom, up, top resistance, flat down, you can kind of read what's going to happen a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the future. Now, granted, I will tell you that when I drew this data, I was drawing it from this point. Remember, all I had was this data. I knew that we closed right here and I knew what type of patterns were going to occur. So I drew what I expected and where I expected price to be within the patterns. And those patterns played out exactly as you see here with price. So look at how I played this: bullish, 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 bullish. Okay. Up into a top and then rolling sideways downward, rolling a little bit downward, rolling downward, rolling downward, basing and bottoming, maybe a little higher. That's today. Rolling downward, and then into a sideways rotation, and then a potential big rally bar here. So now understand that we're really, if you look at this price, I predicted it would go up, it went up. I predicted it would go up, it went up. I predicted it would go up, it went up. I predicted it would top or begin an early topping phase. It topped. I predicted it would move into a sideways phase. It moved sideways. I predicted it would begin to move down. It started to move with downward pressure. I predicted it would move down. It moved down. I predicted it would move down. It moved down. I predicted it would move down. It moved down. I predicted it would move into a basing, bottoming type sideways pattern. This was our exhaustion last Friday. Didn't really exhaust, didn't really move into sideways, but this was our exhaustion. And now we're moving higher. So now I'm predicting it's going to move up. Guess what? It's already started to move up. So it's really hard to say that, quote unquote, I was wrong. In fact, if you think I was wrong, I challenge you. Go ahead, predict the next 15 bars. Start today, Monday. Predict the next 15 bars, just as I've done. Forget about my patterns. See if you can do it on your own. If you can predict the next 15 bars with the same degree of competency and accuracy that I've done, I will congratulate you. I will literally write you a wonderful letter of recommendation saying that I've never seen anybody be able to do this as accurately and as competently as I can do or attempt to do. So again, got an email message from some guy the other day telling me that I was wrong. And, I kind of laugh because you look at the data, and even though I was wrong on the prices up here, and, I I'm not I'm not a moron. I do understand that I cannot accurately predict prices and where it'll be 3, 4, 5 weeks out. I can, though, as you can see, predict direction, trend, and general scope of the market. And that is where I think the real strength is in what I'm doing. I can tell you what the markets should be doing 2 weeks or more in advance. Okay. Now, it may be off a bit. It may have moved bigger or wider or more narrow than I expected. But generally, look at this. I have literally picked this market apart now for more than literally 4.5, almost 5 weeks. I have literally called this entire move for about 4.5, 5 weeks now. We have one more week left to go. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, so I'm going back to the SPY. We are going to see how this plays out. Again, I think we're going to be topping probably around 555, maybe up into this 557, 558 area if we get a big rally today. There's a lot of news this weekend with President Biden. It could affect things. So we do have that news event. Consider it an unknown quotient right now in the data, but it could become a very solid rally phase if the markets perceive this as a resolution to a serious unknown. And that's again something we'll have to play into. But right now, the topping pattern should move up into the 555 area. So call it anything above 554.25, and may move all the way up into this 557, 558 area before potentially topping out. This would be a very big move, a very big topping pattern, but would set up a very solid channel into our move forward. And where we would be looking at the channel going forward, literally here, guys, is, we've got this move trying to break into this breakout. We would, if we got up to this 557, 558 area, we would be looking at this kind of a channel move coming forward, kind of like staying in that area for the next 3, 4 days before we solidly break away from the channel. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Talk to you later.